Harold Jackson. I am live here and behind me, I'm live in New York, Lower Manhattan. Behind me is the Southern District of New York Federal Courthouse where prosecutors have dropped some charges against Sean Diddy Combs. I told y'all last night that they really don't have a case, and today we are about to see it. So, a document was filed yesterday in Sean Diddy Combs' case. Okay. It's United States versus Combs. Dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully writes regarding its requested edits to the court's proposed jury instructions. The government the government understands the court's desire for streamlined instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charge relating to one, attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. The government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liabilities, so instructions are no longer necessary. They might as well go ahead and throw out the whole case. I told y'all last night. I told y'all when I go places, it's because something fishy is going on. And I told y'all last night on my live show that the state, this government don't really have a case, especially with the arson. I talked about that last night. How are you going to say that this man blew up somebody's car and a female's DNA is actually on the freaking firebomb? Like, so, I mean, we knew this though, okay? So hold on. Let me pull the document back up. Now, this document was filed by the government last night. Hold on, y'all. This was filed by the government last night. Good morning, Grand Rising. So, if for those who are coming in, charges have been dropped. The government has dropped charges against Sean Diddy Combs, who is on trial for racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. But as of yesterday, June 24th, the government has dropped 3 charges against Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, let me read to you this document once again. Okay, that was filed in this case yesterday. Now, it doesn't say a specific time. I don't have that on my specific document, but let me read it again. United States versus Combe. Okay, dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully writes regarding its requested edits to the court's proposed jury instructions. The government understands the court's desire for streamlined instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charge relating to attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. Okay, the judge has dismissed those charges in the Sean Diddy Combs trial here in Lower Manhattan. I told y'all yesterday, there's no way that this case can go to this jury and they ignore all of the defense's evidence, okay, and the evidence that they brought forth on cross-examination. You cannot ignore this stuff. You cannot accuse this man of sex trafficking and setting people cars on fire and abetting all this stuff when you got abundance of information that showed they set him up. They was interested. I want to be your little freak. I want to be your freak in the sheets. I went and just got some baby oil. Baby, that do not sound like no coercion. Y'all got to stop trying to send black folk to fucking jail because your feelings hurt, because he called out your company. I mean, y'all just got to stop this carrying on that's going on, okay? And we need more black journalists that show up to criminal trials to help people get the truth out here. Not these lies, not these biased reports and all this stuff. I wonder, what will the enemy say today with these 3 charges that has been dismissed in the Sean Diddy Combs trial? I'll have more information about this for y'all, but I am live right here in Lower Manhattan at the Southern District of New York, where I've been here since Monday, and Sean Diddy Combs is on trial. Today is a good day for Diddy. If you are Diddy, if you waking up today, Mr. Diddy, you are a happy man because it looks like this may go in your favor. Now, I don't know what the jury is going to do, but I believe that they cannot return a verdict of guilty. There's no way beyond a reasonable doubt beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no way with the evidence that shows this one coercion. Even the fact that Diddy said, we canceling the freak off tonight. And the government want to sit up here and say, that doesn't mean that it was canceled. But it shows that he ain't forcing nobody. It shows that he ain't saying, get your ass over here. It shows that he said, rest up, get some rest. Get some rest. Get some rest. There's no way this jury can sit there and say, this man did this. And you got proof that everybody wanted it. Everybody was in it. Why aren't Cassie indicted? Why are y'all giving immunity to criminals? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. If the law is the law and the police, prosecutors, the police are supposed to uphold the law. Prosecutors are supposed to what? Prosecute those who violate the law. Why y'all giving immunity to criminals? Why are unindicted co-conspirators testifying against a man that they would send these freak? I mean, come on now. You just got now. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. You cannot do a person like this. Don't do nobody like this. And the fact that you have to go in court and you have to defend yourself, go to OnlyFans, go on Twitter, go to OnlyFans, run those IP addresses, pull all them hoes who up there throwing them dirty butts and them musty dicks around, go and pull their stuff and get them for sex trafficking. Because I bet you today, somebody flying in to New York City to get their back blown out, and they gonna get paid, and they gonna go back. But ain't nobody looking into that. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody looking at that. Why y'all ain't looking at that? Huh? So again, for those who are just now tuning in, let me say to you, 3 charges. It's been dismissed against Sean Diddy Combs, okay? One of them is attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking, okay? You know, the baddest blogger is in town because the people need to know the truth about what's going on, okay? You cannot just automatically start believing women all the time, okay? They not all of them are not good. And my mom's the one. I got black women, I mean, in my life, but and you know what? I like women who see this case as some bullshit. But the fact that they are allowing unindicted co-conspirators to testify against a man that they should be sitting beside is ridiculous. And to want this jury to send Diddy to prison for the rest of his life, because remember, y'all are saying he coerced him. And then the fact that that the judge didn't even allow one of the messages where I believe Cassie was saying like, my bank account got to be straight or something along the lines. I can't quote it verbatim. But why you wouldn't let that in? I just want to know, wouldn't that be exculpatory? Wouldn't that show that they had a motive for what they're doing? I mean, I understand the freak let in, I understand that stuff, but why you can't show that it's all about money? Why can't we, you get what I'm saying? And then to talk about it's prejudicial. No, 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 no. The video of Diddy and Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel, that's prejudicial to him because it has nothing to do with the case, but they're trying to build their case off of that. Why y'all didn't charge him for specifically that and got a conviction? And maybe you would have got a judge that would have said, oh, I'm gonna give you some time in prison. I told y'all last night, we have to start charging people with the correct charges. You get what I'm saying? So, so that's the breaking news right now. What's going on? Okay, let me see what y'all saying in the comments. Exactly, Renata. And let me tell you something about you haters that's coming up here. Baby, you don't even know me. I will roast you down to the ground, straight down. You better go do your research on the baddest blog. I will roast you down. But it's the thing, I mean, you know. I mean, it ain't no law against being a freak. This is all it is. All it is about being free. Diddy is just a freak. He's a freak with a fetish. He has fetishes. Baby or Astroglide. I mean, his god brother had a shirt up here. A Frico don't mean a Rico. You know what I'm saying? They all wanted it. They wanted his money too. I'm staying out. Listen, it's a much better today. Okay. Um, my notes is on my phone right here that I'm on, so I have to come back later and give y'all an update on what those charges. Because some of these the prosecution argued in their rule 29, and no, let me just say this. Normally, in my experience of covering criminal trials, yeah, I'm a Scorpio. Normally, when the prosecution rest their case, the defense will ask the judge to dismiss it. And normally, and based off of they didn't meet their burden of proof, there's no evidence. And normally, the judge will deny the motion to dismiss for a directed verdict because a jury has been impaneled and they feel like the jury should solely make that determination. Being that in their Rule 29 motion, some of this stuff was brought up specifically. They talked about how there was no evidence that Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car, right? So some of these charges have been dismissed, but they have not been dismissed by the judge. They've been dismissed by the prosecution, okay? Which, the prosecution runs the courtroom if you want to be technical. They're the one that bring cases before the courts, and the judge hears what's going on. They have the right to dismiss cases. They have a right to bring charges. They can drop it right. They can drop all this stuff right now and dismiss it, and the judge can't do nothing. He can't say, no, you're going to go with it, because they are the ones who have the burden of proof. Diddy doesn't have the burden of proof. And if you look at the evidence, you can now see why no witnesses. I mean, come on. It'd be something different if you don't have them wanting to. You get what I'm saying? It'll be a difference if they not talking about my bank account got to be real. It'll be a difference if you just have nothing but evidence that shows that Diddy is just this monster and there's no courage, no fraud, no force. You get what I'm saying? How is it forcing when you pulling up to the party? And then people want to talk about all this mental stuff. Was you mental when you was telling me you was on your knees thanking God for the friendship? Well, why? Where do y'all mental state be when y'all do stuff that y'all like to do? You get what I'm saying? Like, come on. And the fact that you saying you can't leave, can't nobody leave, y'all can leave. Everybody can leave. And then you have people out here that automatically just believe women or believe allegations without even listening to the facts of the case. You don't care that a man may be wrongfully convicted or wrongfully charged. And we already know that hold on, y'all. We already know that the hold on. Who is this trying to go? Thank you so much, Wendy. I just got out here. I wish I was here from the beginning of the trial, but I'm here now. If you missed my live last night, go watch my live stream. But it would be so wrong to, like, you don't care about a man being wrongfully convicted? Look at what they did to Tyree Nichols. Those cops beat him down, beat him, stalked him, killed him, and they still got off. So just because a person is convicted of a crime does not mean that they did it. And if your ass ain't here at the courthouse to get the facts to find out what's going on, I mean, so what? The government's case is weak. They don't have a case. They wish they had a case. This is weak. And I hope the jurors send Diddy home because this is wrong. Everybody wanted in. Y'all were willing participants. You cannot ignore the defense evidence. Everything they put on about them being you can't ignore that. Don't ignore that. You got to listen to the facts of the case, y'all. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Men get wrongfully charged a lot of times. You have these pro-women groups, these Me Too movements, and I understand that. And I support any woman who's been abused. They should charge him with the video of him beating her. He's guilty. He's guilty. We saw it on video. He apologized. You cannot ignore that. But the fact that y'all are trying, or that the government is charging him with all this other stuff instead of getting him on something that they could get him on. I just find it ridiculous. Yeah, he still got some charges, but 3 of them were dropped. Okay, so um, we live down here at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Okay, today court start at 12 p.m. They are doing going over jury instructions. So that was filed last, and it had to be before 7 o'clock because I do remember that when the judge, when they spoke about it yesterday morning before the jury was brought in, the prosecution said that they will have, or everybody will have their instructions in by 7 p.m. But this was filed last night. And court starts at 12 p.m. this afternoon. And they're going to go over the jury instructions, and we'll give y'all information about what instructions will be allowed, what won't be allowed, all that good stuff. So y'all stay tuned right here. Y'all, it's a lot more cooler today. Okay. It's a lot more cooler day. So I just wanted to come to give y'all an update on that. All right. He was wrong for beating her like that, but he's not on trial for that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. Um, I think he is going to get pardoned. Yeah, even if he do get convicted, Trump may give him a pardon. Trump said that Diddy didn't kind of, fuck with him after he got, when he got into politics. And I understand because, you know, like, bro, you doing too much. You understand what I'm saying? So, but Trump said that nobody, even asked him about it, but I'm sure he would do it. Everybody trying to hit Trump up. And I know it's some Democrats that wish they could hit Trump up and say, Trump, 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 get me out of jail. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you something. Let me tell you something. If Diddy do walk out of this courtroom, or if he do go back there and get convicted, which I highly doubt he gets convicted, I just don't see a conviction. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't know what the jury's gonna do. It's just my opinion. The judge may well dismiss it. And let me go back to what I said right earlier about when prosecutors rest their case. Right when they rest their case, normally, like I said, the defense will get up and ask the judge to dismiss it. And most of the time, I mean, they don't. The prosecution don't be having no cases and stuff. A lot of convictions come from something that's called circumstantial evidence. Okay, it's really easy to get a conviction on circumstantial evidence. These people really don't be having direct evidence. They do it all circumstantial. You get what I'm saying? Circumstantial. So you have two types of evidence: direct evidence, and you have circumstantial evidence. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of times the reason why you want to do these type of things because you want to get it on the record, and when you get it on the record, that's for your appeal. So if Diddy lose and Trump doesn't pardon him and he appeal it, he can, the appellate court may say, well, the lower court erred when they refused to dismiss or when they denied the motion to dismiss. And I'd be like, why do appellate attorneys or appellate judges or appeals courts say that the judge should have, because I read a lot of case law, a lot of cases. So I'd be like, well, wow, the appeals court says that the judge should have denied it, but why do judges deny it and claim, oh, because a jury has been impaneled? You get what I'm saying? So it's really, really weird. Okay. Yesterday, Diddy got up and told the judge that he did not want to testify. The judge has to ask you that just to make sure nobody coerced you, nobody made any promises to you, nobody threatened you, none of that. Okay. Um, so we're live here in New York City, okay, Lower Manhattan, where Sean Diddy Combs is on trial for racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, coercion, as well as transportation to engage in prostitution. So that's the update. Let me read this to y'all again, okay? So yesterday, filing by the government was filed in this case that says, Dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully writes regarding its requested edits to the court proposed jury instructions. The government understands the court's desire for streamlined instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charge relating to attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, attempted arson under California law, and aiding and abetting sex trafficking. Okay. The government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. Charges dismissed. Okay, not all of them. Okay, so I just wanted to come on to let y'all know about this. And listen, charges have been dropped. It is true. Charges have been dropped. So don't come over here talking about I'm clickbaiting when a lot of these people out here are coming out here lying to y'all about shit that's not even happening in the courtroom. Okay, so get your facts right. Okay, find reputable news outlets. Okay, and stick with them. Okay. All right, y'all. I'll give y'all another update later on. All right. Peace.